Hi everyone, and welcome to the Unity tutorial series on creating a 2D top-down shooter game using only visual scripting. In my last video, I gave you an overview of the game we're going to build together. If you haven't checked it out yet, make sure to watch it so you can see what's in store. Today, we're going to kick things off by setting up our project and implementing basic player movement along with a dash feature. Let's get started. First, we need to create a new project in Unity. Open Unity Hub, click on the New Project button, and make sure to select the 2D template with Universal Render Pipeline from the list. Once you're ready, click Create to generate your new project. Now that our project is set up, let's create our player object. In the hierarchy window, right-click and create a new 2D square object by clicking on 2D Object, Sprite, Square, name it Player. Now we're ready to dive into visual scripting. Let's add the script machine component to our player. With the player object selected, click Add Component and add a script machine component. This will help us in adding the logic to our game. In the graph window, click the plus icon to create a new script graph. Name it Player. Click on Edit Graph and it will open our script graph. Go to the graph and make it full screen. Now let's create an object variable of type float with the name player speed that will be used to move our player. Look for fixed update node, as that is used to perform physics-related actions. Now search for rigid body 2D set velocity node to set our player velocity in the X and Y direction. In order to move our player through our keyboard, let's add the get axis raw node for the horizontal and the vertical movement. Search for create vector 2 node and pass the values of the get axis raw nodes to the X and Y inputs. Now look for the multiply node and grab the player speed variable and the output of the vector 2 node. As the inputs, connect the output of the multiply node to the input of the set velocity node. Now exit the full screen and select the player object. Then go to the inspector pane and add rigid body 2D component. This component adds the physics properties. Set the gravity to 0 as we do not want our player to be impacted by it. Go back to the player script graph and look for normalize node and add it between create vector 2 and the multiply node. This node is used to keep our player move with the same velocity diagonally as well. If we don't add this node, the player will move at 40% more velocity in the diagonal direction. As you can see, now our player object is moving with the same velocity in horizontal, vertical, and diagonal position. Now let's set up the dash movement for our player. Go to the player script graph. Create 3 new variables: dash speed of type float, dash time of type float, and is dashing of type boolean. Search for the on keyboard input node and select the space key as the input to enable dashing when pressed. Now search for the if node, grab the is dashing variable, and connect its value to the if node. All we are doing is checking if our player is not dashing. Then we simply add the player speed with dash speed for dash time seconds using the cooldown node. And then, once dash time has elapsed, we simply change the player speed to its original value and change the is dashing back to false. Now go back and change the main camera size to 15 so we can see a larger area and hit play. As you can see, our player object is dashing when we press the space key on our keyboard. That's it for today's tutorial. In the next video, we'll be adding the player's sprite by importing some free assets. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to stay updated with our latest tutorials. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.